Welcome to Creative Mornings. Thanks for getting up early and coming. Okay, I'm walking into the frame for the video. I'm Erica Hall from Mule Design. We're here in San Francisco, and we're about to be moving very conveniently close to this place. You all should be familiar with Creative Mornings because you're here. If you did wander in off the street, please enjoy a pastry and a mimosa. I'd like to thank our continuing host here, Paris Soma. They've just been fabulous. Big round of applause for them. They're opening up their space to us, and please take a look at their event board, the really nice event board they put up there. They do a lot of different cool things.
And our website.
And the website, parissoma.com. And yeah, I was just in Paris. French people are so nice. Everyone in Paris is really, it's a myth. The thing about Parisians being rude is a total myth. I'd really like to thank everybody helping out. Benjamin, who's done so much to organize this and coordinate it and pour the mimosas that you're all enjoying. Jason taking the photos there, making everybody look fabulous. And of course, Raphael here from Parissoma, who helps it all happen. As always, tweet, use our hashtag. I'm sure George will be saying some very clever things that we'll want to share with everybody, particularly the people from the other Creative Mornings chapters who'd like to see what we're up to. Oh yeah, Alto. Oh, that's right. Oh, they were on the same slide. That totally threw me. Yeah. So many people helping out. So does somebody from Alto want to come up and say a few things about, yeah. Awesome, thank you so much.
Hey guys, my name's Bill. I work at this little company called AOL. How many of you have heard of email or use it? Did you see a show of hands? A few people, okay. So we just relaunched, or we just launched a new product called Alto. I don't know, has anyone heard of it at all? Okay, a few people. So we're actually, it's a preview right now, and we would love, this is the perfect audience. We've built it for designing people. And if you're interested, come see myself, Carla, or Ben, and we can get you fast track on the list. So thanks very much.
All right, thank you for sponsoring. And yeah, I was thinking, it looks pretty neat. They're trying to take some of the pain and horror out of email, which yeah, I really appreciate. And now I'd like to introduce George Zisiadis. He's a creative man about town who is involved in more projects that I can mention, including the center, a creative space here in the city, and something involving the public and balloons that maybe he'll talk about. But without further delay, here's George Zisiadis. Thank you.
A show of hands, who here has had a great idea in the past week? All right, keep your hands up if you've noted that idea down somewhere. And keep your hand, oh, awesome. Keep your hands up if you've started to move that idea forward in any way. Okay, cool, great, a lot of good people, a lot of good progress, and we're going to talk today about keeping more hands raised the next time we ask that question. Thank you, Erica, for having me, and thank you all for being here and for being beautiful. So, I'm George, and I make things, I make projects, lots of them, projects that positively reshape people's interactions with the world. One of them, the Examiner Slammer, was one of the first things I did a while back in college. Finals period's so frustrating, so exhausting. Like three exams in one day. The only celebration I get is to go study for my next exam. So I said, something has to change here, something's got to give. So I went out and got this big tower and basically throw some paper together, and he said, after you come back from an exam, everybody write a heartfelt note to your exam, a goodbye to it, a farewell, au revoir, and climb up to the top of this 10-foot thing and slam it inside. And so we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Post-it notes full of goodbyes to people's exams. It was the collective catharsis of my entire dorm room, visualized here. This past weekend at the Urban Prototyping Festival, perhaps somebody was there, maybe, we debuted Pulse of the City. Urban prototyping was all about hacking urban space and creative urban interventions. So we created this small station that turns pedestrians' heartbeats into music. uses a custom algorithm to take your pulse and to turn it into a unique drum beat, melody, and tempo. And then it also uploads all of that data to the internet. So really fun stuff, lots of smiles. There are hundreds of people dancing and grooving to the music of their bodies for the first time ever. It was really great. This one older gentleman, I think he was 67 years old, he said, "That's the most rhythm I've ever had in my life." So that was cool, maybe. But it wasn't always this way for me. And so now I'm also leading a lot of other projects, which we'll talk about, but it wasn't always this way. And I used to work at a startup a while back, and as you can imagine, a lot of my energy used to go there. But I had all of these ideas floating around in my head, but nothing was happening, nothing was coming of that. And so my entire life changed when I started doing one simple thing, when I learned the power of doing one simple thing. And what is that one simple thing? It's TYIS. Tokyo Yokohama Information Services. No. It's taking your ideas seriously. I'm going to share with you what exactly does that mean. The last thing we need is another buzzword, or buzz phrase, right? So I'm going to take you through to how it all started, to this one more project that really crystallized this for me in my life and how it really changed things for me. And then I'm going to share with you a framework that has really worked for me and that you could potentially use in your own life. So a while back, I was living in this arts collective in the Mission called Million Fishes on Bryan and 23rd Street. Great space, a repurposed old retail shop. Lots of space. This is my bedroom. Yes, that's AstroTurf. And yes, I did often ride my bike because I had nothing else to do. So you can see there's 2 stories there, and I had to climb a ladder. So it's this crazy loft that I was living in, and I had no idea what to do. What do you do with all this space, right? So we said, okay, let's build a bouldering wall, maybe? Okay, well, let's make a velodrome. I don't know. Let's put like a jacuzzi or 6 inside of there. And just all of these possibilities, right? So I was hanging out with my friend Will one day, and we started talking about these things, right? Velodrome is completely, just so impractical, right? But we said, but we could fill it with balloons, right? That would be kind of fun, right? What could we fill it with? We said balloons, and we started talking, and one thing led to another. We're like, okay, balloons. What if we put LEDs inside of the balloons, right? Okay, balloons. What if we make the LEDs motion sensitive, right? So one thing just kept leading to another, and so we said we just got some balloons, did some quick soldering, sent out a few emails, and thus was born Balloonacy, the world's first ever interactive balloon immersion. And we said, let's see what happens. This is what happened. Could you turn the sound up, maybe?
That was so purple.
It's like an inedible Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
I like it like 20 times that much.
It's crazy!
It was fucking crazy. 2,000 people came and had a balloon dance party in my bedroom. I've never had to replace toilet paper so quickly in my life. It was the most euphoria-inducing experience I've ever seen in anybody. We had 8-month-olds to 85-year-olds. It was on Mother's Day. Tons of mothers kept coming, and it was just wild. And what we saw after this was all over was that we saw the impact and the effect that I could have on literally thousands of people, because I took this crazy idea seriously. We took it seriously and we followed through on it. And so I continued trying that out. I keep exploring, keep saying, what happens if I take this idea here? Let's take more ideas here. Let's go see what happens, follow down the rabbit hole, right? Which has brought me to where I am today, which is, as Eric said, working more projects than I can keep track of, and exhibiting at festivals and working on 3 exhibits coming up at once now. And what I want to share with you all is the framework and the lessons that I've learned for how do we actually go about taking our ideas seriously and how can it possibly change our lives for the better. So I'm going to share five, even simpler, 5 steps for you guys. You know, these are not the word of God, but these are what's worked for me and something that I hope will also work for you, or something that you can at least take something away from. Number 1, write it down. Non-negotiable. Non-negotiable to write it down. This represents about 3 weeks worth of notes for me. Just writing anything that comes to mind, kind of free-form just stream of consciousness. Why do we write it down? Because human memory sucks. The only thing potentially worse than human memory is our human focus, which is why I like to use what I call a DFD, which is a distraction-free device, to document all of my thoughts. Again, you know, you use what worked for you, but there's a lot of literature out there on why actually putting pen to paper and using your finger muscles better encodes things in your neural pathways. And that's why I'm such a big advocate of writing things on paper, because it helps you remember better. And so the key point here is that you're not generating ideas, you're just capturing them, right? You're just building you're cultivating your creative self-awareness, right? You're just being more in touch with all of these impulses that are firing through your brain, and you're learning how to capture them and put them on paper. So just keep on writing. Some of you may already do this, and there may be some closet Moleskiners here in the crowd. But for those of you who don't, I feel so strongly about this, and it's had such a big effect on my life, that I left an index card on your seats. If you haven't turned it into a paper airplane already, please feel free to experiment with that, or not, and try writing your ideas down for a week. Thoughts, observations, ideas, questions, you know, why do dogs pee on fire hydrants? I don't know. Here it's like collectible condom wrappers. Like GitHub for the legal, GitHub for the legal system. You know, street furniture that's meant to be vandalized. Like really weird shit. But just try it out if you feel like it. If it changes your life, let me know. If not, you know, email me anyway. And we'll go from there. So now that you have this list of ideas, this physical list that you can refer to, the next time you're hanging out with your friends, go and share it with them. Share it, share it, share it. You can also talk about share, but more importantly, share your ideas. And let it free. Let it go free and see where people take it. See what they do with it, right? What you'll soon realize is that what you thought was this one universe in and of itself is actually just a piece of a larger puzzle, right? Pulse of the City started, you know, my original idea was just to have, you know, we'll just show them their BPM. We'll just show a number, right? Then it was like, I shared it, somebody else said, well, let's do music now, let's upload it to the internet, right? These slides, I didn't even think of that share slide. Somebody else told me about it, right? So just because I'm sharing my presentation with others. It just involves us. You know, Martin Dowdy has a great TED Talk on what happens when ideas have sex, right? This whole notion of, you know, the myth of the lone genius, right? It's really true. Everything is a remix. Every idea comes from other ideas. I have a hard enough time getting laid, so God knows we don't need to make it harder for our ideas, right? So that's all. Can I take your question at the end? Is that possible?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So inevitably, as you're getting more and more of these ideas out, you might experience the idea hangover. You know, raise your hands if you've ever had the idea, the world. Okay, curing AIDS, like blindness, we're done. The world-changing idea, only to realize that it's been done 5 years ago 10 times. Yeah, right? So ideation is a buzz. You know, we've all had that brainstorm feel-good fuzzy feeling, right? We get drunk off of it, right? It feels good. And when reality hits us, it doesn't feel too good, right? And we're like, oh shit, it's been done. Like, oh man, like I have to do shit now? Or I have to think harder, right? Balloonacy, not an original idea. So you can imagine I felt a little sick to my stomach when I was like, gosh, I'm real original. But this, rather than swearing off, you know, balloons and swearing, you know, like I would, you know, wake up, I'm never drinking again, you know, I'm never doing balloon projects again. It's an opportunity to reapproach the way you're approaching this, right? It's a real chance to take it further, right? Balloons feel, there's this weird guy, he just does this all the time, man. And there's a chance to say, how can we take it further, right? Balloons with LEDs balloons with motion sensitive LEDs had never been opportunity, if anything. And even if it's been done before, you've never done it before. And nobody can take that away from you. So just something to keep in mind. As you're moving it forward now, and this small seedling of idea is growing, it's extremely important to start projectifying it, right? Turn your idea into something bigger than itself or yourself, right? Sam Gilbert is, all these are good friends of mine. Sam Gilbert, he's into microbrewing, right? No big deal, standard hobby. He decided to take microbrewing a step further and create BrewLab SF, which is a microbrewers collective. It's like a CSA for microbrewers. It's really awesome. So he's created a community and a warehouse where microbrewers can come and have access to tools, infrastructure, community, all to create this vibrant microbrewing atmosphere, right? Parker Finney really loves playing with barrels and monkeys, right? He just loves it, you know? Cool, no big deal. What is a big deal is when he decided to create a project out of it and break the world record for the world's longest barrel of monkeys chain. 6,000 of them. And Leslie is a seamstress, right? Lots of seamstress, dimes a dozen, right? No big deal. But what Leslie did was take some Confederate flag geometries, turn them into multifunctional, really cool multifunctional garments, and wear these 6 garments every single day for a year and document that. That is cool, that is worth talking about. And that is, she turns something she does, seamstressing, into something she's done, right? Some concrete project that she can point to in the past. And so, you know, I'm gonna get really meta with you for a second, but my big hobby is to find out about what people are working on the side, right? I'm always going up to people and saying, yo, tell me about some cool shit. So I decided to turn my project into a project of cataloging other people's project. So I started this blog and website and community called On the Side, which is basically weekly posts of inspiring projects by awesome people. Which is just taking my hobby, what I do anyway, and just turning it into, packaging it into something concrete that I can point to, I can share with people now, right? So keep going with that. Finally, the project is not of much use if you don't set a date for it, right? Set a specific date and time, I would even say, versus the ones on the left. The Pulse of the City was supposed to premiere at 8:30 a.m. Here it's 8:10 a.m. and you can see that Pulse of the City is still disemboweled in the back. My clock says 8:10 right here. And Matt and I are still we just pulled an all-nighter. We're running on, we're delusional, we're hallucinating. And Matt, it's 8:10 a.m. and we have 20 minutes and we're still coding and we're still getting everything together, right? Lunacy, kids were running through our door. We opened our doors and we're still inflating things. We're still throwing electronics inside the balloons, right? The point is that it's not about your project premiering when it's ready. No. It's about your project will be ready when it premieres, right? Whether you like it or not, it better be ready. And it will be ready, because you will be amazed. When you get rid of time, creativity flourishes, and constraints are freedom. You achieve freedom through constraint, really, is what happens. So, set a date. If you ever really want to push someone's buttons, if someone's working on something, ask them when. Ask yourself when, right? See what happens. So, this is the five-step framework. You know, write it, share it, harness the hangover, Projectify, and set a date. What I want to, emphasize is that this is a habit. Taking your ideas seriously is a habit. It's something that requires diligence and persistence. Just because you take your ideas seriously doesn't mean that they're going to be like good ideas necessarily. It doesn't mean they're going to go anywhere, right? And in fact, it's going right if they don't go anywhere, right? Because that means you're capturing everything, right? Everything big and small. You're going to have a lot of duds. You're going to have a lot of things that just don't go anywhere, and that's fine. That's part of it. That's part of the process. But if you stick to the habit, if you keep taking every single idea seriously, you'll give yourself the opportunity to discover that one idea, that 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 ideas that you would have missed otherwise if you hadn't kept cultivating this habit. This is about 2 or 3 months worth of my ideas that I just, again, are documenting. I haven't done anything with any of these, right? And it doesn't matter, right? There's some weird shit up here, right? But, the point is that keep persisting, keep being diligent, and you will eventually give yourself the chance to find that thing that you wouldn't have found otherwise, right? So it needs persistence, it needs diligence. Every single idea needs to be treated seriously. But why? Why are you up here, George? What are you trying to tell us? Why should we care? The point is that what I found in observing myself and observing others is that taking your ideas seriously brings you into communion with the most creative sides of yourself, right? You've all had the chance to work on a project that you completed that you owned, right? And it's a great feeling. We all know that, right? So it's something that we don't necessarily get to experience otherwise in life. And I found that it's one of the most sacred and profound parts of human life that I've experienced, you know, is when you can create something and turn it into reality. It's a very special process and feeling. And I think it makes us better. So now that you have this framework, you've heard about how it's changed my life. 3 quick resources to help you out. Let's say you need a space, you need a community to work with. NoiseBridge. Anybody heard of NoiseBridge here? Anybody? A couple? Great. NoiseBridge is awesome. It deserves a whole talk in and of itself. And it's a hackerspace, classes, everything free, open to the public, 24/7. The only rule is be excellent to others. I'll have more information about these later. Next, let's say you need money to make this happen. You know, Balloonasy needed some money, right? And let's say you're not going to apply for an MacArthur Foundation grant, Knight Foundation grant, right? You will apply for an Awesome Foundation grant. That's what you'll do. Awesome Foundation is chapters, about 50+ chapters around the world that each give $100,000 grants to crazy, silly, creative projects. There's about 10 trustees in each chapter, and anybody can start a chapter, and they all give $100 a month to fund these projects. I'm a trustee in the San Francisco chapter, and I just look for crazy people to do crazy projects, projects that wouldn't be funded otherwise. You remember the scene in Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, where he's running after the boulder, right, and his like crazy epic scene? It would be kind of fun to do that in real life, right? It would be kind of, you know, what a crazy, who would fund that idea, right? The Awesome Foundation decided to fund that idea. So the point is that it's a silly idea, it's a crazy idea, so what? If you share it with people, guess what? It resonates with people. Oh, guess what? I want to give you money for that. Oh, guess what? Now it's happening. Oh, guess what? Hundreds and thousands of people are being impacted by your stupid, crazy, silly idea, right? Finally, what if you just need an outlet? You just want to exhibit it, right? Somewhere. You don't even know what you want to create. That's inspired me to start the Imperfect Film Festival in San Francisco, which is actually premiering this weekend. I'll give you more information, but it's basically about creation over perfection, right? It's an outlet to encourage you to birth your idea, right? So the Imperfect Film Festival is monthly themed premieres of short films created exclusively in the past 30 days. So it's basically like a 48-hour film festival, but every month and on steroids. So it's a great chance, I'll talk more about it later, but it's a great chance to basically give an outlet and a push to people, both professional and amateur filmmakers, to just create. Just fucking make something. Doesn't anything, just make it, do it. Finally, in conclusion, this talk has been about taking your ideas seriously. But it's not just about us. The greatest impact that we can have is in taking others' ideas seriously. Go to your friends, go to the people sitting next to you right now. Ask them, what are some ideas you've had lately? How can I help you? When will you premiere them? Thank you. And I'll explain these right after the Q&A.
Okay, yeah, so now we have time. Anybody any questions? Oh, yes.
So on your list of things, your art, your notebook, or sorry, the last slide with all the projects on it, there are a few things right there. You have, what would make waiting in line fun? What if laundry chores were fun? You know, there's one on there about pooping. What if pooping had a ritual? Because, so when you're coming up with these, I don't know why I picked that one out.
I don't know why I wrote it, yeah.
All our good like thoughts and ideas come in the bathroom. But so when you come up with these ideas, what are your opposites? Like Paul Arden says, do whatever others do the opposite, right? And when you come up with an idea, how do you stretch the creativity in that idea? So light up a staircase, you're like, okay, cool. What are the things that you always ask yourself with every single idea? Like the other extreme. What if we didn't have staircases? What if we called them something different? Are there questions you ask every single time?
Yeah. There are a lot of more specific brainstorming techniques to this. It's sort of like, X if X then Y, or like, or trying to like, what if it's the X of the auto industry, right? What if we make this the Ford of staircases or something? Lots of specific. What works for me is I ask myself, what's the funnest thing you could do? What's the craziest thing? For staircases, something specifically, I was like, what if there's a staircase that you didn't have, that you could go up without walking, right?
Some people normally walk up the staircase.
Yeah, so I asked myself, what is the craziest, what can I say that will get people to look at me with a blank face, right? That is always a great starting point, because then you're really onto something, right? So with staircases, I would be like, yeah, how could we climb a staircase without stepping on it, right? Something, just start as far out as you can, and as just try and get away from reality as quickly as possible, and then fun things will come from there. What would be the funnest way to start a staircase? Also, another way is start from the emotion. Start from the emotion that you want people to feel, right? If I want them to start, I don't want function, I want emotion, right? I want people to feel happy or elated when they climb a staircase. So feel that, understand that, know what that feels inside of you, and then work backwards to see how you can go about implementing that. So that's a great question. Thank you.
Hey, anybody else? People back there? Yeah, question.
Or you can just shout.
I don't have to run.
So I want to ask about, so the second thing was about sharing.
Yeah.
But I think people are hesitant to share because what if another person just gets my idea and then just get it into a reality? I mean, not each of us have business ideas, but I think in general, people are just hesitant to share just because other person can share with someone else and then that person can do something else from that. So what do you think about it? Like, how can we prevent this thinking, or how can we get
That's a great question, and I just got an email from a friend of mine who's working on a really cool project. It's called the Acoustic Guitar Project, and I'm going to share it. It's called the Acoustic Guitar Project. He's giving a guitar to one people he's giving a guitar to one artist for 1 week, and then they're passing it on. Really cool project. And I said, hey man, I want to feature you on the side. And he's like, no, just wait 3 weeks. I don't want to get it out there. I don't want to get all my PR lines so nobody steals it. And I said, what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? Like, how dare you? Your idea is not yours. And stop thinking that, It's not yours. And share, you have a duty as a creator, and so says George, and a responsibility to share it with the world. And so, to your point, sir, and your name is? Albert. So Albert, the thing is that, so there's one thing, so it's, one thing you're touching on is the fact that, like, in the end, ideas don't matter, doing ideas matter, right? So if you have the idea and you don't do it, then shame on you, and more power to the person that does do it, just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean you're going to do it, right? So my idea is do it and talk about it and like claim it, right? If you really want to claim your idea, then just do it and talk about it quickly, move quickly, and follow this process, share it, get feedback quickly, and move on it. I think it is almost pathological, especially in this whole concept of like, we're stealth, great, so it's this, I think, especially, it's very easy to fall into this trap of I'm holding on to, our egos, this is my idea, I'm scared of somebody else taking it, but in the long run, it's really going to hurt you, and it's truly what I feel. In the long run, it's truly going to hurt you because you're going to be missing out on feedback that is going to help you and change you. And ultimately take the idea forward. So if you're scared about other people acting on your idea, act faster. That's all,
Okay, time for a couple more. Anybody else?
I'll just yell.
Just yell. Okay, super.
So when you think about ideas, do you map what your personality is like to how you think you can execute it? Going back to the competitive advantage you would have in pulling it off. Like, does that come into a factor, or is it like, I'm going to push myself, or is it like, I'm good at this, so I'm going to do this?
Interesting. I actually take the opposite approach. I actually ask, what am I not good at? And let me do that. Charles Eames is awesome. He's an architect, famous furniture designer and architect, and just crazy Renaissance man, and he did that 10 by 10 video. And so he said, he has a very awesome quote. He said, if I sell my expertise in something, then my scale is inherently limited. I can only work within the show. But if I sell my lack of expertise, then I have the whole world to hire me, you know? So I think that's a very inspiring approach to take, which is, let's look at a problem that I have no expertise in, and start getting involved with that, you know? I don't particularly, Pulse of the City, I don't make music. Like, I fool around with it, you know? I don't do industrial design. What I did do is I reached out to people who do those things, right? And I allowed for what is special to me is my thought process and the things that I've pulled in my past. So for Pulse of the City, you know, I had a friend who did industrial design, who did electronic music, and a friend who programmed satellites. And we got them all together, and we said, let's see what comes out of here, you know? A big collaboration is such a huge, you know, I live in this crazy, the Convent Arts Collective in the Lower Haight, you know? I've restructured my entire life around supporting this idea of collaboration and in hanging out with people that are different from you to support that point, right? There's a whole other talk about how to seduce collaborators into your projects. I'll leave for next time, but I think that's a great question. Thank you.
Okay, one more. Over here.
I'm really nervous to say this, but I'm participating now in a collaborative project that has shocked the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It's called The Silent History, and if you don't know about it, you should know about it because it's a story.
Thank you for sharing.
That people are reading chapter by chapter over 6 months, only an iPad and iPhone, and you're invited to become a reporter in the story, and it's geolocated, so you can only read stories from a very specific spot when you're right on it. It's surprised the hell out of me. It's opened up all sorts of ideas because I'm joining into a collaboration that I know nothing about. I'm writing, I'm a field reporter. It's crazy. It's called The Silent History, and they need a lot of people to know that.
Yeah, and
this is a perfect place to know.
And what is happening to you? What has happened to you personally now that you've taken this idea seriously?
I've started thinking about collaborative writing for children, geolocated writing for children, instead of going, oh, boo-hoo, no more books, saying, well, what would happen if the iPad became this incredible way to walk around the story and find story learning files, completely off track of what I usually do. So, I'm thrilled.
That sounds rad.
I'm thrilled every day.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
I just wanted to,
to
follow up. The Imperfect Film Festival, it's going to be really big, really awesome. We have 7 filmmakers who have committed to create, professionals and amateurs who have committed to making something from scratch. It's premiering this Sunday, lucky you guys, at my arts collective. We live in a former nunnery, so we have our chapel with stained glass and perfect acoustics. This Sunday, October 28th at 8 p.m. In the Lower Haight. Come hang out with me and watch horrible film. And imperfectfilmfestival.com. On the side is postings every Friday of inspiring projects by awesome people. If you have an awesome project like Silent History, come let me know and we'll get it up there, you know? And just let's talk about it. Awesome Foundation. Bryn and Jesse are raising their hands right there. They're also fellow trustees. Go talk to them because they'll give you money. And Noisebridge on Mission 17th. Go hang out there and make cool shit. You guys are wonderful and beautiful, and thank you. And take yourselves and others' ideas seriously. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. That brings our program today to a close. Thank you so much for coming. Again, for future events, watch the Twitter for San Francisco_CM. And we'll see you next time. Big thanks to Parasoma.
Can I say one thing?
Oh, Raphael would like to say one thing.
Just real quick, if you guys want to know about more cool events that are happening here at the space, we have a newsletter. You should definitely sign up. And if you have any questions, come say hello. So.
Yeah, sign up for the Parasoma newsletter. They're doing all sorts of cool stuff here. Thanks to our sponsors, Alto Mail. They'll be doing exciting things for email, which we all need. And please, as you exit, dispose of your cups and various items. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.
And please come talk to me. Let's talk. Let's chat.
Talk to George.